Hey guys, it's me, Gary Lee Stanley, your sales guy. How are you doing today? Today we're talking about our favorite subject, which is sales. All right, we got a great topic for ourselves today, so let's go ahead and dive right on into it. That's funny. If I'm talking about pools, why should you get a heater for your pool? Okay, that's a funny question. You know, I've been in sales a long time, and I got a really great opportunity when I worked for a great company to be able to help people with pool services and also help them buy motors for their for their pools. All the equipment and heaters was my favorite. And the reason why heaters were my favorite is because, see, I got to listen to a lot of cool stories from people. You know, I live in Florida, Northeast Florida, it gets a little bit chilly here. And sometimes if you don't have a heater, you'll be looking at your pool and going, honey, it sure does look good, but I can't get in. It's too cold. You know, we get a lot of people from up north who come down here, they're like polar bears, their very first year, and they get a pool, they ain't got no heater on it. And the next thing you know, they're looking at the pool the second year. The first year, they're like, oh, it feels great. Oh, it feels great. But your body gets accustomed to this warm weather down here in Florida. And the next thing you know, you're looking at a beautiful pool and you're going, wow, for about 4 or 5 months, and it ain't getting used, sometimes up to 6 months. And then you got to consider, you got to do all the maintenance, the cleanings, the service. You got to do all of it, and you got to make sure that your pool looks its best, because you definitely don't want it to become a green pool. And see, what I've learned in my process is when I work with different types of customers, when I sold them motors and also heaters for their pools, is that there was reasoning behind it. One of the significant others, they could enjoy the pool because it's nice weather. I mean, it's beautiful. But even in the summertime, if you are in the shade and your nice pool is in the shade, unfortunately what happens is it might be 80, 90 degrees, but your pool could be 70 degrees. And you may say that ain't too cold, but for some people it can be very, very cold. And in the wintertime, people, they have these beautiful screened-in pools. They've got these beautiful open concept pools. And they've spent a lot of money to invest in a beautiful home in Florida and not be able to use their pool. Even if you go to Central Florida and South Florida, where it's a lot warmer, and it's probably about 10 degrees warmer, I have so many people that once they get to be in their 40s and 50s and 60s and above, when they have a pool, the pool seems to be a lot colder than it was when they were younger. You ever jumped into a pool or you walked into a pool and you said, oh crap, you got that freeze, you froze up, and it was like, oh boy, and then your body after a little bit got acclimated, but as soon as you got out of the pool, you were like, dang, it's cold, and it ain't that cold. But see, the key to success in this regard is we're talking about buying, heaters for your pools. They have electric heaters now. They have gas heaters. And the benefit behind them is that they're going to save you a lot more money than they used to. The quality has gone up a tremendous. You definitely need to call on a cool dealer to have them walk you through the process so you can get the one that you want. They've got the larger BTUs, the smaller BTUs. Now they even have heat and cool. And the advantage there is the pool is very hot in the summertime, it can actually cool the pool up. It's really cool. I'm just saying. But, like I said, if you're going to buy a pool, and see, here's the benefit of having a heater. You're going to be able to enjoy all year round the pool. Now, it may be cold on the outside where it's a little bit chilly and so forth. It could be in the 50s, and you're out there in the pool with your significant other, your friends, or your kids and everything, while your neighbor down the street or your neighbor next door, he ain't got a heater or she ain't got a heater, and they're just looking at their pool, looking at y'all having a good old time out there. Some people just really like to enjoy their pool. They like to have their cocktail hour. They like to smoke whatever, and sometimes people just want to, after a hard days, or even if you're a retiree, enjoy, the investment that you've got out there in your backyard, your pool. So if you're thinking about buying a home, that's what I do. I sell real estate now, and I also sell other stuff. But the key to success is when you're buying a pool, or should I say buying a home, do the pros and the cons and figure out, well, should I get a pool or not? For some people, when they get a little bit older, they're not much wanting to get into, doing all the maintenance. So you might want to get a service to do the maintenance, the cleanings, and taking care of your pool for you. And you might want to consider one that's got screened, especially up here in Northeast Florida, if you're not wanting to get out there and get all the debris and clean the pools. I love pools. I think they're awesome. I really, really do. But see, like I said, if you're going to buy one, you definitely want to consider getting a heater. I mean, literally, they can run anywhere from $3,000 to about $10,000, depending on who's installing it, what type of BTU, which means, how much energy savings, or it's going to be able to put out enough heat. And then you got the different ones that are heat and cool. You got the gas ones, and you got the electric. Depending on what you get and the installation, sometimes you can get with a good company because they manufacture them. Like I worked for a company that they bought theirs from a specific company that's all they did was manufacture, the heaters for the pools. They had the heat and cool. They had, like I said, they had just a really good selection. So you could buy what was in your price range. Also, they're a lot better now today than they used to be. They don't drain your bank account as far as your electric is concerned. And you might want to consider getting what they call a solar blanket. A solar blanket is something that folds out and rolls out over the top of your pool when you're not using it. So when that pool is heating up, maybe you're thinking about having your boss over or some friends over that evening. You don't want the heat to dissipate. You have a nice solar panel going over the top of it. It's a nice, like a blanket. It'll cover the water in this regard, and it will keep the heat in. It's just a nice benefit. So if you're thinking about getting a heater for your pool, get yourself a solar screen to cover it, so that way you're able to keep the pool heated, and you can save a lot more money that way. Because sometimes people are afraid to buy them. They think they're going to be in the poorhouse because they've got a heating system in their pool. And remember, you don't got to use it all year round, but you do have quite a few people who've made an investment of a home that's got a pool that costs a lot of money, and they want to enjoy that pool whenever they want it. It just makes sense. Buying a heater shouldn't be real difficult, but you do have to budget yourself for it. And here's the thing, most of your companies that are selling heaters, they'll come out there, do an inspection to see what they can do to install one. You've got to have some serious power sources, and they'll tell you a little bit more about your electrical services that you need to have. You've got to have the right electrical system set up, and they can install it. They can have a contractor come out there and add a little bit more power for you to be able to set it up. You're going to need a nice little pad that it's going to go on, because you don't want to just sit it in the dirt. You don't want it to be rolling around. And you definitely want to talk to them about maintenance, because maintenance is important when you buy a heater on a pool. You want it to last a long, long time. And you also want to talk about the warranty. And if they have an extended warranty, because generally your manufacturers will give you 90 days to a year or 1 year on parts and labor. But in my mind, we live in Florida, and we get a lot of hot weather, and sometimes the wear and tear on different things can be worn out a lot quicker because of the crazy weather, and not like up north. So you definitely want to talk to them about getting an extended warranty, a maintenance agreement, a service agreement, or some kind of guarantee that's going to guarantee that when you buy that thing, it's going to last you a long time. And they generally do. They generally last a long time. And see, when you go to sell your house, okay, it's a selling point to say, hey, listen, I got a pool. And believe it or not, we've got a heater on that pool. And I'm going to tell you what, to a salesperson like me, and if I see a pool, one of the first things I'll look for is to see if it's got a saltwater generator on it, which, it makes it helps out as far as the chemicals are concerned. And also helps create, the materials that go into the pool. And on top of that, I look for a heater. If I see a heater out there, I point that out to my customers and say, hey, here's a big saving for you. You just saved almost $8,000, up to $8,000, up to 10 and more, guys. I'm just saying, on a heater for your pool. And that saltwater generator, it's going to make chlorine for you, so that'll be less wear and tear. So I point these things out, and I look at the motor, the housing, and I sell it, and I let them know the pros and the cons when you buy one. So hey guys, my name is Gary Lee Stanley. Give me a thumbs up, share these videos, guys. I talk about all different subjects of sales because I've been in sales since the 80s, and I've sold a lot of stuff, and I've worked with a lot of companies. And you're probably saying, well, how do you know so much about all these different things? Because see, some companies, they don't last forever, but if you've got a sales background and knowledge, you can go from place to place. And I have 3 jobs. I sell a lot of different products, and I'm gonna tell you what, and if you want to figure out, well, man, you know a lot about a lot of different things, it's because I've got licenses and certifications, and I want to make as much money as I can. And I'm just sharing this with you because I've got this experience. And when you buy a home and you don't have a pool heater, it looks good and you're going to be excited until it gets a little bit chilly. Not too cold. Hell, it could be in the 70s, and you're looking at that beautiful pool because it looks real pretty, and you want to jump in there, but you can't because it's too damn cold. So do me a favor, guys. Give me a thumbs up. That'll share the algorithm so people can see these videos. I got a bunch of them. I got all kinds of information on sale. Go ahead and subscribe. I would really appreciate that if you like my videos, and share them. And remember, guys, if you're looking to buy a pool or buy a home that's got a pool, if you are thinking about buying a heater for your pool, you gotta this is a good video to watch. And it's also a good video if you're trying to sell heaters for your pool, or if you're trying to sell services and you got the capability to say, hey man, you might want to go ahead and get a heater. Because see, if you give people basic common sense features and benefits, what's in it for them, you're going to get a little bit of money, okay, from the sale of the product, but the customer gets a benefit for a long time. It just works that way because customers are important. And if you want to get referrals, talk to people, once you get them installed, they're enjoying their pool, go back and see how they're doing and ask if they have any friends or neighbors, or even after you sell it, right then, write it up and say, do you have any other friends or family who might want it? But especially within less than 6 months, I'd be out there knocking on the door. Hey, how are you doing today? And hopefully you'll get there when they're out there in that pool and have a good conversation with them. All right, guys, we just had a great conversation about selling pools, and oops, wait a minute, we had a conversation about selling heaters for pools and why they're so important. And if you're going to buy a home with a pool, you better get yourself what? A heater, because it gets cold. Now what? I don't want to get in there, honey. It's too cold. Well, and that's the man talking like that, okay? So do yourself a favor, guys. Enjoy the day. And if it's you're trying to buy a pool, or if you own a pool, should you get a heater? Pros and cons. I'd probably say the benefits are really good in the pros. Just saying, okay? Do me a favor, guys. Have a great day. And remember, when you buy a pool, get yourself a heater. All right.